Why house addresses aren't sequential. The logic behind the numbers. If you've ever walked or driven down a street, you've probably noticed that house numbers don't always follow a simple, predictable sequence. Instead of increasing by 1 with each house, 1, 2, 3, 4, you might see jumps like 100, 104, 108, or even more irregular patterns. This can be confusing, especially when you're trying to find a specific address. So, why aren't house addresses sequential? The answer lies in urban planning, flexibility for future development, and the need for efficient navigation. 1. Planning for future growth. One of the primary reasons house numbers aren't sequential is to leave room for future development. Cities and towns are constantly evolving, with new homes, businesses, and infrastructure being added over time. If addresses were assigned sequentially, adding a new building between two existing ones could disrupt the entire numbering system. For example, if a new house were built between houses numbered 5 and 6, it would require renumbering all the subsequent addresses, which is impractical and costly. To avoid this, many municipalities use a system where addresses are spaced out. For instance, houses might be numbered in increments of 2, 4, or even 10. This allows for new buildings to be added without disrupting the existing numbering scheme. If a new house is built between 100 and 104, it can simply be assigned 102 without affecting the rest of the street. 2. Addressing systems based on location. In many places, house numbers are tied to their physical location within a city or town. This is especially common in grid-based systems, where addresses are determined by their distance from a central point, such as a main street or city center. For example, in some cities, the first 2 digits of an address might indicate how many blocks the property is from the central point, while the last 2 digits represent the specific building on that block. This system allows for a more logical and navigable layout. If you know the addressing system, you can estimate how far a particular address is from your current location. For instance, an address like 1420 Main Street might be 14 blocks from the city center, while 1500 Main Street would be 15 blocks away. This method makes it easier for emergency services, delivery drivers, and residents to find their way around. 3. Odd and even numbering for different sides of the street. Another common practice is to assign odd numbers to one side of the street and even numbers to the other. This helps people quickly identify which side of the street a particular address is on. For example, if you're looking for 123 Elm Street, you'll know it's on the odd-numbered side, while 124 Elm Street would be directly across the street on the even-numbered side. This system also contributes to the non-sequential nature of addresses. Since numbers are assigned to both sides of the street, there will naturally be gaps in the sequence. For instance, if the odd side of the street has houses numbered 101, 103, and 105, the even side might have 102, 104, and 106. This creates a pattern where numbers increase by 2 on each side, rather than sequentially. 4. Historical and cultural factors. In some cases, the lack of sequential numbering is due to historical or cultural factors. Older cities, especially those in Europe, often have addressing systems that evolved organically over centuries. Streets may have been named and numbered before modern urban planning principles were established, leading to irregular patterns. In these cases, renumbering the entire street to create a sequential system would be impractical and could erase important historical context. Additionally, some cultures have specific beliefs or traditions that influence how addresses are assigned. For example, in certain Asian countries, the number 4 is considered unlucky, so it may be skipped in address numbering. This can further contribute to non-sequential patterns. 5. Rural addressing systems. In rural areas, where houses are spread out over large distances, a sequential numbering system would be even less practical. Instead, rural addresses often use a system based on distance from a reference point, such as a county line or major intersection. For example, a house located 3.2 miles from the county line might be assigned the address 3200 County Road. This system ensures that addresses reflect the actual location of the property, making it easier for emergency services and delivery drivers to find. While the lack of sequential house numbers can be confusing at first, it serves an important purpose. By spacing out addresses, cities and towns can accommodate future growth, create more navigable streets, and preserve historical and cultural context. Understanding the logic behind these systems can make it easier to navigate your community and appreciate the thought that goes into urban planning. So, the next time you're searching for an address and notice the numbers don't follow a simple sequence, remember that there's a method to the madness. If this answered your question about why streets are numbered the way they are, like and subscribe for more fact-filled videos.